Yo, hello everybody. Welcome. I lost the document for the intro chat. How are we doing today, everybody? God bless everyone for being here. Johan, God bless, bro. How you doing, man? Hold on. My stream deck isn't working either. What's going on, everybody? Enemy lunch table, God bless, bro. Johan, God bless. L, God bless. Stan, God bless. How we doing? How we doing, chat? How we doing? I don't think I even read any of the spoilers, and I definitely didn't read the chapter. So I'm excited for this one, chat. How's it gonna be? Is it gonna be a good chapter? What are we rating it out of 10? Hope everyone's doing great, chat. God bless. Haven't seen you guys in a while. It's been quite some time. I'm telling you, these breaks, it's not very fun. It's not very fun. But we persevere, chat. How are we doing today? There's an @ symbol on our username. Yeah, I actually prefer that. I think it's better. Like if people on YouTube have usernames, versus like a long drawn out name with all the spaces, it's very hard to like @ people when they have like a bunch of spaces in their name and their names like typed all weird. When everyone has a username, it's like I think this is way easier to @ people and communicate. Deans, God bless, bro. Lunch table, glad to see it's a 10 out of 10. I'm excited to read this chapter. We got the Ace shirt on today. We got to represent for the boy. Hold on, let's see if you guys can see the back of the shirt. Hold on, maybe I have to stand. Look, check out the back. So we got the front, Ace, right? We got the back. See it? Represent for the White Beard Pirates, baby. 8.5 out of 10. God bless, Stan. I'm glad to see you here, bro. Chat, should we just jump right in? Should we just jump right into the chapter? Should we just dive straight into the content? Oh, also, guys, what time is it for you? Because I think it's very early West Coast. L, what time is it for you, bro? I'm pretty sure it's very early. Lucas, God bless, man. Garp is him. Hey, listen, bro. I already know as soon as Smokey gets in this chat, we're going to be going back through the same rodeo. So, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just going to avoid all GARP content. I'm going to avoid all GARP content just for the sake of my sanity. Elijah. Oh, Eli. I'm sleepy. It's 9 a.m. God bless, bro. I'm doing good, man. I'm chilling, bro. Still just focusing on my faith. Still reading through all types of stuff, Christian related. That's my main focus right now, man. That's my main focus right now. Oh, maybe now would be a good time before we get into the chapter reaction, before we start talking about One Piece. Maybe now would be a good time for us to have a discussion. All right, chat. You guys want to sit down and have a grown-up talk? Chat. All kids leave the stream. All children leave the building. The grown-ups are speaking. I think now would probably be a good time because I was actually going to make a post about this, but I wasn't really sure how to address it. So maybe I'll have this will be our little practice run right now. How about that? This will be our practice run. Or at least for me to kind of voice how I feel at the moment and you guys kind of see where I'm coming from. So essentially, chat, one thing I want to talk about, right, is over the past, I don't know if it's been 2 years, a year and a half. I think it's been at least a year and a half. Over the past year and a half, I've been growing more and more and more into my faith. Really putting my mind, body, and soul into Christ, right? As I continue to go through my faith, I am changing as a person, chat, and I'm still like a nasty, wicked sinner. Chat, I'm not better than anybody, right? But as I grow in my faith, I'm changing as a person, and I'm finding interest in things and I'm losing interest in others, right? So I just want to quickly address this before we get into the chapter. So as time goes on, I'm getting more and more fascinated into the very multifaceted world of Christianity, as far as the history and the saints and all of the theology and living out the faith. I'm becoming very fascinated in that kind of stuff. And then simultaneously, I don't feel the same way to One Piece as I used to before. So if we think about like how I was doing content 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was a much different person back then. And like I loved One Piece to the highest possible degree, to where that's kind of the only thing I really cared about. But now, as I'm changing and growing as a person as a man, I don't find myself to be as interested in One Piece as I was before. So I don't know if that's gonna bother you guys. I don't know if you guys want to unsub, if you guys think I'm fake, or if I'm a traitor. I don't really know how you guys would take that, but yeah, that's my honest. Those are my honest feelings right now. So, you know, I was actually talking to someone about this, and I was telling them, like, if I didn't have a channel right now, I'm not sure if I would even be like keeping up with One Piece. You know, like there's not that passion. There's not that drive. There's not that kind of desire anymore. But I think it'll come back. I think it'll come back, chat. And then like other things, you know, when especially online, you know, like on Discord and Twitter, sometimes in the One Piece community, I just see things that I cannot relate to, things that I think are just gross, things that I think are evil. Just I see a lot of stuff in the One Piece space that I don't really feel aligned with, right? And that's not to say that I'm better than anybody, because I'm not better than anybody. I'm not holier than thou, right? But you know, I've been seeing a lot of stuff for the past few months about how we should be treating celebrities that voiced bad things, and One Piece being a leftist manga, and all these types of things, bashing Christianity. Just not something I'm very in line with, you know? So yeah, well, I'm still gonna try my best to do the streams. As far as the long summary goes, though, chat, I do want to get into this chapter reaction here in a minute. But as far as the long summary spoilers stream was supposed to go, as you guys know, by the time I would have streamed, it would have been nearly 24 hours after the fact. So it was already like a full day of people reading the long summary spoilers. So I felt like there was no real reason to stream it that late, and the spoilers were already out by that point. So I hope you guys kind of see where I stand at the moment. I'm not saying that that I'm gonna never stream again. I'm not saying that like I'm gonna abandon the channel or anything. I'm just letting you guys know who I am as a person, right? So I hope we're kind of like on the same page. Oh, and another reason why this all matters a lot to me is because when I interact with One Piece, when I read One Piece and I interact with the chat and I'm in the One Piece space, the One Piece community, I see things through a lens, through a worldview that I wasn't seeing like years ago. So because I'm changing as a person and I'm trying to grow and be a better person, be a better man, a better leader, a better husband, stuff like that, I'm interacting with things differently. So if my worldview, if my personality, if my religion or whatever impacts how I see One Piece, I want you guys to understand it's because of who I am. Just like if you were reading One Piece, your worldview, who you are as a person, is going to impact how you read the story. So hopefully that kind of fills you guys in with where I'm at right now, but I think we're ready to jump straight into the reaction. A $5 super. Thank you so much, Smokey. God bless you. I can never thank you enough. Thank you truly, brother. Is it because you know you're going to have to sign the carb apology form? Listen, Smokey, do not get me started, bro. Don't get me started on this. Don't get me started. Garp is a great character, but do I support him working for the Marines 40 years after God Valley incident? No. Is he a good character? Yes. Do I like him being a Marine? No. Does he have a heart? Yes. Was him letting Ace die a good thing? No. Smokey, God bless, bro. Thank you so much, man. I just don't feel that like just I'm gonna randomly stop streaming and you guys will never see me again. Okay, just don't feel like that. I want you guys to know how I truly feel on the inside. Don't be sad, don't be sappy. We don't need any of that kind of stuff. We're chilling, chat. We're chilling. Vincent, God bless, bro. We understand completely. We pray for you each day and hope that spark returns to you. Thank you so much, bro. And I'm always praying for you guys, chat. Pray for me. Pray for each other. It's very important. But without further ado. Sorry. One more thing. I do want to start the chapter reaction, but one more thing, because Abigna, God bless. He asks, Christian YouTube channel coming soon or coming up. So here's the thing, right? Another thing that's been on my mind for a very long time, which ties into me changing and growing as a person just over the past year and a half. Let's just say it's definitely been like a year and a half, but let's just say a year. Over the past year, I've changed a lot and I'm still changing. I still need to grow. I'm a very faulty person. I have many, many flaws, chat. I have infinite flaws. I have infinite sins, chat. God knows how much I have to beg him every day to save me and have mercy on me. But I've also been considering updating my username, right? Now, I don't want to, I do have a name in mind. There is a name that I really, really like. I think it would reflect me well, and it would actually be similar to my current name. But, you know, I'm just kind of like playing around with that in my head. Do I want to go through a new username, a new, I'm in like the cocoon. Do I want to become a new butterfly, become a new person? Not necessarily become a new person, but I think you guys get my point. So I'm thinking about that. I won't make new accounts. I would just update my username on YouTube, Discord, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I would just update my username and keep the account. So that is something I think I'm thinking about, because when I look at my current username, I really don't like it. And if I end up deciding to change this name, I'll explain it in a post. I'll explain why, like, I don't really like using this name as evil, even though it's probably misinterpreted. I'll explain all that, but I get tired of OP at times as well, TBH. But unlike the content creators, I have the luxury to be able to step away and come back. Yeah, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing. You know, if you're just you know, a regular guy, a regular consumer, like how I was, right? You don't really have that pressure to post videos, post theories, do streams. You don't really have that pressure, you know. But once it becomes like a business, then you see it much differently. Like, one guy that plays football for fun is going to see football differently from the guy who plays football as like a business. You know, once you make a passion like a business, you then begin to see things about it very differently. It becomes more of like a, maybe at some points it could be like a chore. It could be very tiring. You get burnt out. You know, that's just the nature of life, you know. I'm sure you guys understand where I'm coming from. If anybody in the chat has turned one of their hobbies, one of their passions into like a job or like a business, you will begin to see it much differently, right? Going from evil to Eddie is hard for you psychologically. It means you're not comfortable with the fact that your name is Eddie. No. That's not what I mean, bro. It's not what I mean, bro. It's close, but Juan, God bless, bro. Appreciate you guys. Without further ado, it's time to jump into 1166 chapter reaction. All right, we got Luffy, we got Nami, we got what's her name again? Toko? Oh no, what's her name? What's the girl's name from Wano? Oh no. Toko? Why does that sound so weird? We got Nami, Luffy, a fox, a raccoon, Sanji with a little girl. Sanji, that's not a good look for you. Shinobu, Yamato. We got my boy Zoro eating a sweet potato. In his mouth, he's like burning his tongue. You guys know when you eat hot food, you get like food very hot to the touch, you have to go like. That's what Zoro is doing right now. Like you guys know when you make a hot pocket, you make hot pockets, you make pizza rolls, right? And you take the bite of the pizza roll, you put a pizza roll in your mouth, and you bite it open, and then the tomato sauce comes out, and you got to hit the. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yamato, Usopp, Chopper, foxes in the background. Pretty cool. What do you call this again? Color spread? All right, chat. First page of the chapter. First page of the chapter. Here we go. The aftermath of the battle. Chapter 11 is 1166, New Tales. Cough, cough. Did they really break the curse? Oh, so Xebec thinks it's a curse. My question is he correct on that? Is it just a curse? Is this Oda's way of letting us know that Imu's employing curses? Could demonic possession be a form of a curse? What does he mean by curse? I'm curious to see the raw kanji. What is the raw kanji on this first panel when he asked, did they break the curse? What is the raw kanji for that? I want to see what curse is actually, what it actually says in its raw form. And then we could look into that. Because we know that Xebec was Domi reversied. So if Xebec is saying, did they really break the insert word here? Maybe that word is going to foretell or even explain what exactly Domi Reversi is. The day of the ascension is merry. Wait, what do you mean? Are you going to start YouTube again in 2032 or at 33 years old? No. We're going to keep going. All right, we got Roger, we got Garp, we got Xebec. Yo, Roger and Garp are knocked out and Xebec is conscious. Dude, this guy's a beast, man. Come on, stay alive. This island is. Okay, we see some people walking up. I think that's Garling with his hair. Dang it, it's too late. Roger, Garp, run. You can't die here. Look, Xebec is such a good guy. Even after this whole situation, after all of this, right? After all of this happening, Xebec still cares about Garp and Roger. He still cares for their souls, bro. He's a real one. Oh, yeah? There's one more thing I wanted to say. Okay, it looks like Summers is going to stab Xebec. Thanks for stopping me. Oh, man. Xebec's dead, bro. That's how, and this is how the God Valley incident went down. How's Rocks? Huff, huff. You're worrying about the enemy? I'm your enemy too. Wait, who is he carrying? I can't tell. Oh, he's carrying Garp. I'm your enemy too. Rayleigh, tell me what happened to Rocks. He was killed. Oh, man. So Summers killed Xebec then. Saint Summers killed Xebec. I mean, technically speaking, right? Saint Summers killed Xebec. Did anyone foresee that coming? Has anyone seen in the past 4 years of theorizing God Valley? Has anyone said, "Oh yeah, Saint Summers kills Zebek"? I don't think I've ever seen someone say that. Hurry! The island's collapsing. Don't let the pirates escape. Roger's ship is on the move. Fire! This event would leave no mark on the pages of history. The crumbling island was swallowed by the waves and consumed by fog. Yo, Garp laying there, patched up, Luffy vibes. Roger laying there, patched up, Ace vibes. Like curtains closing on a grand stage. You got Whitebeard, you got Big Mom. That was the essence of the God Valley incident. Wow. You know what? I'm going to say it. I rate the God Valley incident out of 10 points. I rate it 10. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed this incident. I think the God Valley incident was amazing. Zebek gets Domi reversied. Emu shows up. We see Roger and Garp throwing crazy attacks. Dragon does some saving. We see Kuma save people. This is a great incident. Now, notice, I said the God Valley incident. I didn't say the God Valley flashback in the middle of Loki's flashback. That's not what I said. I think the God Valley incident lived up to the hype. I think it really did. Kuma was a great star. Ivankov was a great star. Dragon. Garling was very interesting. Zebek. You got the two crews. Garp. Emu's taking possession of Saturn and Zebek. I think the God Valley flashback is a great flashback. I'm gonna take all the parts because you guys know that throughout the story we've gotten bits and pieces of God Valley here and there and here and there. If you take all the pieces and combine it into one, I think the God Valley incident is a very good narrative. Now I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure if Twitter or social media likes the God Valley flashback or God Valley incident. Does it? Is the One Piece community enjoying the God Valley flashback? I actually don't really know. Stupid Garling is the one who kills Zebek. Yeah, I'm looking at the panel, bro. It blocks, the sword is blocking the face. I don't know why it got I don't know why it had Summers vibes. Oh yeah, you can see the hair curling. Yeah, so it is Garling killing Zebek. Yeah, chat, he's right. Ashura's right. Garling killed Zebek. Well, either way, like, still pretty crazy. Saint Garling kills Zebek. I think most people would have imagined that, like, Zebek died from a combination attack of Garp and Roger. But it's actually interesting that Oda was like, nah, I'm going to have Garp and Roger knock Zebek down, leave him kind of incapacitated, then Garling will kill Zebek. God Valley was nothing but a Mihawk upscale. Yo, God bless Ewok. How you doing, bro? Evil about to start reviewing Bible scriptures, which I'd be here for. I think most of us like it, but there are some parts that could have been better. I think this incident is phenomenal. Actually, like, I don't know if I want to call it perfect, right? I don't know if I want to call it perfect. There's probably things that I would point to that could have been better in the God Valley incident, but there's just so much amazing stuff that I really can't think of an example. Like, think about all the stuff Kuma has done in God Valley, all the stuff Ivankov did, all the interesting lore from Zebek, Emu, Saturn, the Holy Knights. Did I say Dragon? Like, there's a lot of awesome stuff in this incident. I think maybe, like, I don't think Smokey's doing this, but I think maybe other people, they might be forgetting that we've had God Valley incident information prior to this. So, you know, when we talk about the God Valley incident, we should take into account all the stuff that happened before Elbaf, or at least before the Loki flashback. Analyzing the Bible's not blasphemy? Yeah, I don't think it is. Yo, what's up, Christ J? The thing is, Rock's crew doesn't even know their captain's state, and Roger and Garp nullified Domi Reversi while Whitebeard wasn't even there to save the man. Well, yeah, I agree. But you're saying the thing is. What is that in response to? Moreover, the Straw Hat is linked to God Valley via Tom Sawyer, who is linked to the American Civil War. I think I just wanted God Valley to be a longer flashback, 20 chapters, something like that. It's still great overall. Hey, bro, Smokey, don't let people tell you that you have to like something or dislike something, bro. Smokey, I'm here for you, bro. I got your back, Smokey. If someone tries to tell you, oh, bro, you should love God Valley, what's wrong with you? Or if they say, like, oh, you should hate God Valley, it's garbage, what's wrong with you? Yo, bro, ignore those people. I don't know if anyone's actually doing that to you, Smokey. I'm just saying. I'm just going on the Streamly rant. You don't gotta like it, or you don't have to love or hate anything, like, according to other people's opinions, bro. If you think God Valley's a 5 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 or a 7 or a 1, like 11, whatever you give it, like, out of 10, that, bro, that's your opinion. I give it a 10 out of 10. I think, like, I think it just lives up to the expectations. Like, we see Zebek, we see his form, we see his fighting, we see Roger fighting, we see Garp fighting, Dragon gets some shine, Ivankov gets shine, we see the Holy Knights, Emu takes possession. Like, bro, there's a lot of really interesting things throughout this incident. So that's just me, though. We need a poll. Should Evil apologize to Garp? Yo, at this point, I don't even know what I would be apologizing for. What am I apologizing for? I always said Garp is a great character. Just like Doflamingo is a great character. You don't have to be a good person to be a good character. It depends on what you mean by good and good character. When I say that I think Garp is a good character, I'm saying that he's written well. Like, I like how he's portrayed in the story. But, like, just because I like how Garp is portrayed in the story doesn't necessarily mean that I would agree with every decision he's ever made. I just wish we saw what the other Devil Fruit prizes at God Valley were. Yeah, who knows what they were. Maybe they'll show up at some future point in the story. Oda will be like, oh, yeah, by the way, this fruit was on God Valley. All right, chat, let's continue. Let's go. Full speed ahead. Yeah. The silence in the incident's wake lasted only a moment. before a massive bolt of lightning split the heavens. And with that, the curtain rose for new tales to unfold. Look at baby Blackbeard. Which, by the way, guys, we still see the egg on Roger's ship on, leaving God Valley. We saw the egg on Roger's ship prior to God Valley. If you guys remember that whole incident with the Kuja pirates a few chapters ago. You guys remember that incident? The egg was there, right? The egg is still there now. Still, hold it in. Just wait till Roger's up. Come on, Captain. I'm dying to open up the treasure chest. Oh, do they have the chest from God Valley, like some of the fruits? Roger! Sorry to worry you guys. Yeah, we're thrilled. More importantly, check it out. Don't you care about me at all? Yo. Shaggy's safe and sound. Hee hee. And we scored a ton of treasure to boot. What a great haul. Yo, I like how every time, like in One Piece, there's like a whole pile of treasure and, there's a bunch of chests everywhere. You always see a cross. Why is a cross so important to the One Piece plot? You have Kuma praying to a cross. You have Yasui crucified. You have Mjosgard crucified. Because, a lot of One Piece fans, they'll always say that, One Piece has so much symbolism. Look, have you guys ever noticed this one sign in One Piece? It actually connects to this other thing. Well, surely all of this cross stuff in One Piece amounts to something. I feel like the original Joy Boy might have been crucified. Mario, God bless, bro. How you doing, man? True, he's one of the best characters in OP. Feels like even though he's old, he's still making mistakes and still has time to grow, even though he's old. Yeah, bro. I think Garp is an amazing character. I love how he's portrayed. That very stern, old, sometimes goofy marine guy, army dude, just wants to use his fist, just throws his grandson in the jungle. Bro, I like how Garp is in the story. I don't hate him as a character. He's a very fun character. I like Garp. He makes the story better. But if I come out and I say like, yo, Garp, bozo move. You're serving the Celestial Dragons another 40 years after God Valley. My guy. Does that mean that I think he's like the worst character ever? It's like similar to Harold, right? I absolutely loved Harold. I do think how like the way his relationship went sour with Zebek is really sad. And, Harold wanting to appeal to the world government was very sad. Like, I'll say that much. But I wouldn't turn around and be like, yeah, well, Harold, worst character ever. Does that make sense, chat? Chat, let me know. Am I the only person that thinks like a good person can make dumb mistakes or bad mistakes? Am I the only human that thinks that way? That like Luffy could be an amazing character that's done something very stupid, or Garp is an amazing character that did something very morally bad. Am I the only person that thinks like that? That's where we differ. Harold is killing me, LOL. Yeah, how his relationship went sour with Zebek is actually very sad. And, him being a total goy boy, a good goy, that is also pretty awful. But I don't know. I like the guy, man. He didn't want his country of Elbaf being barbarians. He wanted them to be peaceful, start working, being very diplomatic, working things out with other islands and countries and kingdoms. I think he had good intentions. All right, chat, let's continue. Wow, huh? Goo goo gaga. What the? It's coming from the chest. There's something in there. Open it carefully. Click. Huh? A baby? Yeah, ha ha ha. Okay, so this is, chat, this is very reminiscent to, you guys remember the drawing from, I think it was from the editors, during the premiere of Film Red, the One Piece manga editors, they had that like short little drawing, that short little chapter promoting Film Red. They had Shanks in the chest. Do you guys remember that? This page right here is very reminiscent to that. I don't know if was it a volume, like a chapter? No one is immune to making mistakes. That's why even God had the rest of one day a week. Yeah, God was teaching us that we need to give ourselves a break at some point. Yes, but this time he's not wearing his sun and moon pajamas. Oh, good catch, Vincent. Yeah, that's true. They might add that in like the what do you call it? The volume edits, like the volume corrections. They'll probably add it there. Every time they go to publish a new volume, we'll get on social media like all the changes that Oda and the editors did. They'll probably add that there. But that is a good catch, Vincent. I might have not even realized that if you didn't point that out. Shout out to Vincent, chat. Shout out to Vincent. Oh, shoot. Bro, I just closed the chapter. I just closed the link. Hold on. Okay, there we are. Rock's pirates were wiped out. Predictably, news coverage was falsified. Only one aspect of the story was highlighted, the heroism of Garp. Yeah. Israel strikes again, baby. Let's go. Mossad working overtime, baby. Hold on, chat. We got to reread this page real quick. We got to reread the page real quick. Hold on. I got the perfect thing, chat. I got the perfect thing. You guys ready? Let's reread this page again. Rock's pirates wiped out. Notably, predictably, news coverage was falsified. Only one aspect of the story was highlighted, the heroism of Garp. Well. What do we have here? More propaganda. By who? Who did it? Who runs the world government? Who runs Marijoa? Who runs Marineford? Who could it be? Who employs Dr. Vegapunk? Who falsified the God Valley incident? Who made it seem like Smoker was the hero of Alabasta? I wonder what it is. Who could it be? Who knows? When it comes to the Nose Tribe, Evo gets a burst of energy, bro. It's like invigorating, man. Every time I think about the chosen people, it's like Red Bull, bro. It's like a shot of tequila through my system. I start acting funny, bro. It says here that the Rock's pirates have been vanquished. Oh, wait. I always want to zoom in when chat. Am I the only one? Like whenever there's a newspaper in One Piece, I want to zoom in and try to look on the newspaper, see if Oda's hinting stuff. I remember like a really, really long time ago, like many chapters ago, someone was holding a newspaper in One Piece and you could see on the edge, it had like Vegapunk and said like Dr. Vegapunk. And I thought that was like such a cool little, I don't know if it was necessarily an Easter egg, but anytime I see newspapers or books in One Piece, I always zoom in to see if Oda's hiding something or hinting something. Rox is dead. I knew it. Vice Admiral Garp is the strongest. Garp. He's a hero. See, chat, if they control the media, they control how people think. And if they control how people think, they control how people act. And if they control how people act, then they can then they can steal everything that they want. Taking shots at the long nose tribe is what's keeping evil interested in One Piece. That's funny. I do that too sometimes with the newspapers. We were kind of trained to zoom in at this point. Yeah, bro, it's true. Very true, Smokey. Wong Woki. My username is Masonic, bro. Don't do that to your boy. I'm not Masonic, bro. I got nothing to do with the with the, you know. By the way, chat, who started Freemasonry? Since that's on the table, since that's a topic right now. Does anyone know where Freemasonry came from? Was there any kind of group of people that would have created that? Do we know who? Like how Winston Churchill is treated as a hero and a certain mustache man is heckin' evil. Do not question any further. Yeah, pretty much. Now, I don't think, me personally, right? I don't think Tiny Mustache Man is like a perfect guy. I think some people take it too far. I think some people make him out to be like the greatest dude of all time, the world's greatest hero. I think that's probably pushing it too far. I do think 95% of the things, maybe even higher than that, the majority of the things we are told about him is just not true. But you know, because like one of my biggest critiques about him, right? Well, let me word it this way. Zawarudo. Let me word it this way. One of my major critiques about Zebek, right, is that he essentially was helping people or helping the Celestials go to Marijoa, right? Now, fast forward, we have a problem with a whole bunch of Celestials taking the Lunarian land. That's my biggest critique of Tiny Mustache Man, of Roxy Zebek. And you could go look into that. It's called the Havara Agreement. Chat, will I get banned off YouTube for saying that? Are they going to flag the stream because I said that? Havara Agreement. All right. Mason, the numbers, what do they mean? God bless Sway. Grand Line Navy HQ. What the hell is this article? Vice Admiral Garb. I can't wait to get my hands on that Morgan's fella. Relax, Garb. He only wrote that stuff because the government paid him off. Oh, they paid Big News Morgans to write that? Yeah, so, you know, a lot of people foresaw this coming, where God Valley is going to give Garp all of the shine simply because Garp is a tool of the Jews, right? Just like how we saw in Alabasta when Luffy was the one that liberated the country from the shekels of Crocodile, they tried to make it out to be a scenario where Smoker was the hero. So, of course, they're going to go through this pattern again where we have a notorious pirate like Roger, which, by the way, Luffy inherited the will of Roger. They have Roger play a significant role in God Valley, yet Garp is the one that receives the shine because it fuels their agenda. It fuels this idea that the Marines need to have this like ultimate sovereignty, that they're the good guys, like they are the ones everyone should trust in, stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of people, as well as myself, we kind of foresaw this this situation. Garp receiving the credit, like how Smoker received the credit. This was something fairly, maybe I'll say it was fairly obvious. I think that's safe. Hence why so many people believed that. The world government and the Marines are massive organizations. If you count the member nations' armies, we're talking about tens of millions of soldiers worldwide. Dude, that's a lot. It's impossible to account for everyone's actions and motivations. So if the top brass ever do strike me as insane, I'd simply turn a blind eye to it. Come again. It's just like I said. You're just another promotion-chasing fool. Shut up. What good can you do barking from the bottom of the cliff? Hey, you two. If you ever stray and get corrupted, I'll kill you myself. How reassuring. I guess that's what friends are for. It's a pretty cool dynamic between Sengoku and Garp. Now, we do see this narrative of Garp where he doesn't want the Marine system, the Marine faction, to be corrupted. And simultaneously, we've had statements from Garp where he doesn't want to become an admiral. He'd rather be remain as vice admiral because, in his own words, he would not have as much freedom as he does now if he became an admiral. So that's something important to take note. Now, I've had to hear this from the chat vigorously from the chat for months now. Yeah, but Garp is staying in the Marines. He's changing the Marines from the inside. That's not present in the story. Now, does that mean it's not the case? No, that's not what it means. That's not what I'm saying. It could be the case that something is true, but not present in the story. But the point of contention when saying that is that you can't get people on board to your conclusion. That might be true if you don't have something substantial to argue for the conclusion. Like if you asked somebody, hey, you believe that Garp is changing the Marines from the inside? Make me a syllogism for that. I bet you people can't do that. If someone tried to make a syllogism as to major premise 1, major premise 2, major premise 3, minor premise 1, 2, 3, therefore conclusion, I bet they can't do it sufficiently because there's just not enough information for us to concretely say that Garp is changing the Marines from the inside. But just because there's not enough information, there's not enough facts to prove that, doesn't mean it cannot be the case. Sengoku Big L here saying he turns a blind eye. Yeah, total Big L. God bless JR Writer. How you doing, man? What if it is? I think the way the Marines work is the higher your position is, the more power you have, but less freedom. Yeah, exactly. And when you become an admiral, you get very close to the Gorosei, and they could just watch everything you do. Control everything you do, you know? All right, let's continue. So you're not quitting then, Garp? Idiots. There are still things at the bottom of the cliff that need a guard dog. All right, Garp. All right, dude. Elbaf, New World. Wah! You again? I ain't letting you on my ship. Oh, he's having flashbacks. How many times do I gotta tell you, Pipsqueak? You think I want a brat on my crew? Hick. Oh, poor Floki. Floki. Poor Loki. Oh, poor Loki, man. Poor guy. Yo, Loki can't catch a break. This guy is just suffering his entire life, dude. Loki's entire life is just suffering. Literally from the moment he was born, instantly hated by his mom, thrown off a tree. His inspiration dies. Bro. Yo, if Shanks dies, Luffy would have a situation just like Loki. Luffy would have a situation just like Loki. Because Luffy would be thinking about how Shanks said, "You again? I ain't letting you on my ship. How many times do I gotta tell you, Pipsqueak? You think I want a brat on my crew?" Yo, chat, remember how Shanks didn't want a brat like Luffy in his crew? Oh, if Shanks dies, Luffy can have the same type of flashbacks as Loki. What is this guy? The guy I want ain't giving me the time of day. But his snot-nosed brat won't leave me alone. Hey, Rox, I think you're Nika. Nika? Bro, what? Loki thinks Rox is Nika? The warrior of liberation who will destroy the world while laughing. Destroy it? I'm aiming to be the king of the world. Besides, if anyone's got that sort of power, it's Harold. Huh? Now, chat, remember, what is the context of Nika destroying the world? The context of Nika destroying the world, as we saw previously in the Elbaf arc, the Elbaf chapters, there are different interpretations of Nika. There's different understandings of Nika. So we got to make that clear, chat. When Loki's saying, "Hey, Rox, I think you're Nika, the warrior of liberation who will destroy the world while laughing," being like a destructor, being the driving force behind destruction, that's one way of interpreting Nika. Because, I mean, if you think about it, right? Luffy technically destroyed Dressrosa. He technically destroyed parts of Alabasta, you know? But when you say someone brings destruction, there can be negative connotation to that. Has Grainline Review seen the video of you and O'Hara? No, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you referring to? Loki about to be in for a shock when he sees Luffy in Gear 5? Oh, yeah, true. All right, let's continue. Listen up, Loki. Somewhere out there, the Galleria are slumbering. They're an outrageous band of Ravagers. And the only one who can put them back into play is your pops. I'm going to continue to rally the rogues of the world. Yo, chat, are we thinking that Loki in present day, as an adult, is going to gather the Galila giants? I'm assuming no one ended up grabbing the Galila giants. However you pronounce that name. Did anyone end up gathering the Galila giants? If not, maybe modern day present Loki will go and grab the giants. Then he leads that as a crew within the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. Because I don't think Loki will join the crew. I think he would be better off leading some type of ship for the Grand Fleet. I've been saying this for a while. Loki can lead like the giants, the crew of the giants within the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. Or maybe he leads the Elbaf crew of the Grand Fleet. Or he leads the Galila pirates of the Grand Fleet. That's Loki's job, the leader of the giants. Then you could have Hiruden play the role of the king, or play the role as king of Elbaf. So I've been saying this for a long time. We've had these conversations before, because you guys know many people have pushed for Loki being a member of the crew, and I've held this position. I don't really think he's fit to be a member of the crew, given all types of things that we could talk about if you guys want, but I want to stay on topic. I think it's very fitting for him to be a part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, especially because I think that the Grand Fleet, yes, it has the giants, and it was kind of being led by Hyrule. But given this new context of, Loki and Hyrule battling for the throne of Elbaf, I think it's more fitting with Hyrule being that king, given the dichotomy in personas between Hyrule and Loki, which we've seen throughout this arc. And we could go and talk about that if you guys want, but let me know what you think. I want to continue with the chapter. So just imagine if Harold and I teamed up. Who could possibly stop us then? Wow, that's awesome. So why aren't you and Pop's allies already? Because of love. Huh? Well, yeah, what kind of answer is that? Because of love? Because of his wife? Because of God Valley? But I'm going to come back again and again. I don't care if it takes 100 or 200 meetings. Hick. Oh, that's the newspaper of Svek dying? Well, yo, poor Loki, man. Poor Loki. Oh, we got a double page. It's a vicious assault. King Harold of Elbaf have any civilians been harmed? No. On a certain island. Okay, so it's on a certain island. It's not on Elbaf. Wait, why does this island reminds me of the island that the Roger Pirates stopped at when they needed to map out the coordinates to go to Laughtail. You guys remember how they stopped at an island? He attacked another giant, some thug. It's quite a brutal scene. Sob. You still don't get it. I understand. Really, I'm sorry. Whoa, that giant is humongous, dude. I'll never steal from humans again. You don't get it. None of you do. Oh, Harold's beating the crap out of somebody? Huge trash heaps like you are responsible for the terrors in our race's history. And that's why we can't be trusted. We only desire to peacefully engage with the world now. But they can't trust that. Oh, man. Yo, Harold is going to be hated by other giants. Because Harold is calling out crimes and destruction of his own race. You guys know how this is in the real world? Chat, you don't think Oda is trying to depict something here based off the real world? You guys don't think Oda's trying to show themes here? You don't think Oda's trying to give a lesson here? He's trying to paint a picture here? Harold is very infuriated with his race. Look, he says it. Huge trash heaps like you are responsible for the terrors in our race's history. So Harold is correcting the bad things he sees within his race of people. But you know what's going to happen? His race of people are going to turn on him. They're going to say, no, bro, actually, no, Harold, you should let our race do bad things because, like, if you call out our race for doing bad things, then you hate the race entirely and you condemn the race. But it's like, Harold wants his people to act better. Harold doesn't like other races. He doesn't want humans to look down on giants at all. And why are the humans looking down on giants? Because of the terrors that giants are doing. Harold's saying it himself. Huge trash heaps like you, he's talking to a giant, giants like you, are responsible for the terrors in our race's history. And that's why we can't be trusted. You see, he's trying to correct the wrongdoings in his own people, in his own home. We only desire to peacefully engage with the world now, but they can't trust that. They can't trust that because look at how our people act. That's Harold's point here. How can other races, how can other groups of people love us, trust us, want some type of relationship with us if we keep acting in this type of way? I feel, dude, I'm telling you, 99% of One Piece fans are going to completely read past this double page, read past this page, and not give it any thought. They're not going to think about this at all. They're going to read this and be like, yeah, okay, anyways. Dude, Oda's painting a picture here. He's giving a message here. We can't go out and work with the world. We can't go out and clean the world if our own home is dirty, if our own home is a mess. How are giants going to want to go out and work with humans and clean up the problems that humans do when giants themselves have all these issues? Destroying the world, destroying relationships with other people, burning bridges, terrorizing the world. We have a giant stealing from humans. And Harold's calling it out. Look, you acting like this is why our race can't be trusted. How about you not steal? How about I beat you up and you learn a lesson so that you don't do these criminal activities anymore, so that our race can be trusted, so that we can be in harmony with people? Why would people want to be in harmony with us when all we do is just terrorize? Like, Oda's painting a message here. Like, because if you tried this in the real world, chat, you guys know exactly how this would go, bro. Like, for me, myself, right? I have Mexican blood, right? If I wanted to go out and correct the bad things in Mexicans, right? The not so nice things within the Mexican race. People are going to look at me and tell me, oh, you're a traitor. You're betraying your people. Why are you turning your back on the Mexicans? Why are you betraying your own race? So it's essentially like a really like stupid argument that enables people to continue doing bad things. Does this reminder something before? What? Does this reminder something? What does that mean? This is a picture. This is a freaking mirror with a dose of reality. It is. Why weren't Rox and Roger the avatars of Davy Jones and Joy Boy? Why do you think the prophecy skipped their generation? That's a good question. I don't know. I need to think about that some more. That's a good question. Maybe we don't have enough information to tell. All right, let's continue. Your Highness, he's already out cold. I didn't want to jeopardize Elbaf's chances of joining the world government. That was my only reason for not helping him. I forsook my closest friend as he begged me for aid. I left him to die. But it doesn't feel like luck's on my side anymore, Harold. Lend me a hand. Oh, man, Harold feels bad too. Harold and Loki. Yo, Harold's an awesome character, man. Imagine Harold double down. Imagine Harold was like, yeah, who cares that Loki died? He got what he had coming for him. I told him not to do it. I told him he's crazy. I would have died with him if I went. No, Harold didn't take any of that. He didn't adopt any of that. He didn't take that position. Harold actually feels bad. Harold has guilt. There's no turning back now. I will never, ever forgive a giant who does evil. Oh, he's radicalized. Yo, chat, this is his villain origin story. Giant King loses it. Navy HQ, underground detention cell. Oh, it's Garp at the cell. Tap, tap. Dad, I'm going to quit the Marines. Yo, W. See, this is what makes someone a Chad. This is what makes someone a real man. The only man willing to launch an army for the sole purpose of rebelling against the Celestial Dragons and the Marines. Dad, I'm going to quit the Marines. Okay. And you, I despise you. Raggin. Wonky wee raggin. Yo, wonky wee raggin, man. Okay. He throws the key. Doesn't elaborate. All right. How do we feel about this situation? Aside from the dragon stuff. Okay, it is good that dragon or that Garp freed dragon. It's cool that Garp didn't yell at Dragon. He didn't reprove him, I guess. He didn't beat him up. What we're seeing from Garp in this moment is pretty awesome. Garp saving his son. I don't have a problem with this. This shows that Garp is a good guy. He loves his son. He wants to free his son. I don't have any issue. This is a W moment from Garp. The thing is, chat, the thing is Garp remained working for the Marines. So we can't pretend that that's not the truth. We can say, yes, W moment. Garp freed Dragon. Total W moment. I'm not upset with Garp for that. That is a total win. Total Monkey D. Garp win. Freeing his son Dragon, throwing the key. We're not upset with that. We cheer and we applaud for that. But are we going to ignore how he continued working for them another 37 years? Like, why should we ignore that? See, that's the point of contention, that people get butthurt over it. You should change your username to Sorry Garp. It's a bare minimum to free your son when you're a vice admiral. Yeah, true. Dude, imagine if Garp didn't free Dragon and Dragon had to like break out. If Garp didn't jailbreak his own son, he would be an even worse character. Oh, dude, that might ruin his character. Yo, if Garp did not free Dragon, that might have ruined Garp's character. It explains it if you keep reading. All right, well, I'm reading the chat as well. God bless Eric. There's something Oda's hiding with the devil fruits. It's reminiscent of Campbell's cans. Are you talking about chicken noodle soup, bro? Which could be a play on words with Joseph Campbell, the creator of the monomyth. What's monomyth? Joseph Campbell. Isn't that the guy that made Mormonism? Oh, no, that's Joseph Smith. Who's Joseph Campbell? I don't know what monomyth is. I don't know what that is. Harold, I've made up my mind, Ida. Elder Yarul, I don't care about appearances anymore. Hiruden, Loki, you both are my precious sons. I don't want you to get along. I want you to get along when I'm gone. Oh, Harold's leaving. And do what you can to support Elbaf. Marineford, Navy HQ. He's going to Marineford. That ship's from Elbaf. What? My apologies, King Harold. But my superiors have ordered me to not let you land. Wait. What the? Whoa. Slow down. Why is Harold going to Marineford? Whoa. This is... Whoa. Is he trying to get revenge for Zebek? High-ranking Marines and leaders of the world government, I ask that you please hear me out. He's grabbing his horns. Oh, he tore his horns off. Bro. Yo, this man Harold is insane. Harold is insane. Bro, the blood is gushing out of his head. He tore off the horns. Allow me to atone for the sins of the past 1,000 years. I apologize for every wrong the giant race has committed. The children of Elbaf are being raised to live without harming others, so that one day they may walk hand in hand with humanity. I do all this to prove our unwavering commitment to peace. I'll do whatever it takes to atone for our sins, even if it means becoming a slave. Harold, I don't think you understand what it means to be a slave of the world government. Massa, please accept me. I want to be a slave. Bro, listen. I think Harold had good intentions with this, but we know the dark truth of the world government. That's why Oda is showing, God bless Tiante, Oda's showing Imu's eye right there. Harold, I don't think Harold actually understands what he would be signing up to. I think the point is that Harold, he has so much love for his people, the Giants. He desires unity so much with the rest of the world, the unity of races, that he's willing to endure anything for that. He really sold his soul to the devil for his people. See, here's the thing. Does Harold even know that Emu exists? Does Harold even know Domi Reversi is a thing? So I think we need to put his quote in context. I don't think Harold has the full context of what the world government really does and stand for. Harold, I think he's coming from good intentions. He wants unity. He wants racial tolerance. He wants people to be one together. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure every single leftist reading One Piece would want the same thing. What's good, bro? Hope you doing good. Hey, you too, bro. God bless, Tiante. Hope you and your family, your daughter and your friends are doing good, bro. Harold's really so naive. He's actually has great intentions for his people. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to stress. He has great intentions, but was told so many times about the world government from Rox and Gart beforehand. Yeah, so that's the thing. Is Harold justified? I think Harold is very tunnel visioned on he's very tunnel visioned on having his race accepted. I think like that's that's what Harold is thinking about most. That's what Harold sees most. Harold sees how his race is hated, and he might even think for good reason. What do we see this chapter? Harold was beating up a giant. Okay, well, why was he beating up a giant? Because the giant was stealing from humans, terrorizing the world. So in Harold's point of view, it's like, okay, I want to work with humans. Okay, but humans don't trust me. Okay, well, why don't humans trust me? Because my race keeps terrorizing the world. Okay, well, then I want to stop my race from terrorizing the world because I have this desire so badly for my race to be loved and accepted and for me to work with other races, for us to be in unity, for us to be one, humans and giants, giants and humans. I think that's Harold's point of view, but maybe like how Tiante's saying, he comes off a little naive because of what the world government actually stands for. So I think maybe what's going to happen is that Harold is going to make some type of deal with the world government. Then he goes back to Elbaf and he's like, hey, I got this deal with the world government. And then as we saw earlier in the Elbaf arc, a whole bunch of the soldiers and knights in the Elbaf castle, they stab Harold. So maybe they felt that Harold betrayed them. And maybe it's through Domi Reversi. That's why Oda uses his terminology, uses this whatever terminology of even if it means becoming a slave, then it shows Emu's eye. So maybe he does get Domi Reversi'd. The monomyth states that all myths are similar. Star Wars was inspired to create its work. I don't know if I subscribe to that because I think certain myths start in certain societies at certain times. So I think like a myth in Hinduism, you can prove is totally different from like a myth in like pagan Rome. They might have similar themes, but that doesn't automatically mean that they're pointing to the same thing. Like you and I, like Johan, I could say, yeah, earlier today I saw a guy wearing a red shirt and then you're like, oh yeah, I saw a guy wearing a red shirt. Does that mean that Avigna should say, oh, you guys are talking about the same person? I don't think so, because I think I could have been seeing one person with a red shirt and you're seeing a second person with a red shirt. It doesn't mean that we're pointing to the same person. Rather, we're pointing to two different things that have similarities. Does that make sense? How do you know how O'Hara Defender made the track APAC posters on his videos? I don't know, bro. He might have used black magic. It might have been through Kabbalah. O'Hara Defender, he might be controlled opposition. God bless, Fox. I think for the next chapter, we will skip to 24 years ago, so a year after Roger was executed, and continue the story from there. When was Harold killed again? I think that was like 17 years ago. When was Harold killed again? See what's also to consider. Propaganda can be involved about his ancestors from thousands of years ago in the past. We just witnessed in this chapter of the world government covering up what truly happens. Yeah, that's a good point. But I think like even Harold himself sees the crimes going on perpetrated by his own race. He's seeing that. Like he beat up this guy. We don't even have his name. He beat up the guy earlier this chapter because he was stealing from humans. So I don't know. I'm just trying to look at this from his point of view, trying to see like does his point of view make sense? Is he consistent in his view? I think he is consistent in his view. I think maybe if he could go, like if he was to go in a better route, he would have to be shown new information. So for an example, I think it would be better if Harold didn't want to side with the world government, but I know that he would have to be shown concrete proof that the world government has ancient weapons, they erased the ancient kingdom, they Domi reversied, all these kinds of things. I don't know if he has that context. I don't think he has that. I don't think he even knows about Domi reversing, right? And that's just one example. But Tiante, I definitely see what you're saying. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. What do you think made the island? God bless Life Bear. What do you think made the island sink? What do you think of the theory that the extreme hockey from Roger and Garp removed some devil fruit ability that raised the island? That's a good question. I don't know what made the island sink. I really don't know. Didn't it say something about lightning out of the heavens? Maybe it had something to do with that. Maybe it had something to do with Roger and Garp throwing out strong attacks. I'm not really sure, bro. But as far as what do you think about the theory that the extreme hockey from Roger and Garp removed some devil fruit ability that raised up the island? I think that's a little bit of a convoluted explanation for the island sinking. I feel like that's kind of like it could be true. Life Barry, it could be true. It 100% could be the case that God Valley was like floating in the sea because the devil fruit was keeping it up. That could be the case. But I just feel like that's a very strange conclusion. I don't really see how I could prove that. I think it's just much more simpler if like all the attacks throughout the God Valley incident, just the island was shattering until it was just little separate pieces and they sunk. Like, I don't know if it necessarily requires like this whole explanation of like, well, no, actually the God Valley island was being held up and it was being held up from a devil fruit, but because the hockey was so strong, it canceled the devil fruit. So the devil fruit was canceled and the island sunk. I don't know. It's just my opinion though. So feel free to disagree, agree. Why did Einstein think he had Kant's thinking when he actually had Hegel's? Why did he contradict himself? It's strange. Are you more aligned with Kant or Hegel in your reasoning? I haven't read them enough, but I think I would be more in line with Hegel. Isn't he the one that believes in what is it called? I haven't read those guys enough. I haven't read it. I'm actually planning on getting into philosophy here soon. I want to learn some more about epistemological arguments, epistemology, and stuff like that. There is something I think from Hegel, something about like concrete universals or something like that. I forgot what I read the other day, but I think I do align myself a little bit with that. I don't remember what it was. Materialism? Oh, I don't know if I subscribe to materialism. They definitely felt that way. If my king says he will kneel, he is no longer the king. Oh, I see what you're saying. So they're thinking like, hey, man, we're not following you if you're bending the knee to someone else. We're not following a servant. We want to follow a king. Capitalism is Hegel's thought. Yo, I believe in Christian monarchy. That's my political position. Is Freemasonry present on monuments in Florida? It might be. I've never seen it in person. Read my last comment. New meme incoming, evil as Harold. Wait, what do you mean? Evil is Harold once, evil, and now thanks to a pure-hearted woman, he's trying to change it to a better man. The username are Evil's Horns. Yo, that's actually hilarious. That's some elite ball knowledge right there. Oda must have been reading Game of Thrones for this one. Kind of reminds me of Ned Stark. I don't think I watched that far. I think I stopped at like season 3. I'm telling you, I'll rarely finish a series. This chapter is very wild. I think it's a good chapter. I think L got too much free time on his hands. That's why Einstein, by the way, contradicts himself by saying he agrees with Kant while being pro-capitalism and indirectly pro-war. Whoa, you're telling me a Stein is pro-war? No way. Ned Stark is episode 1? Oh, who is that? Dude, I haven't watched it in a long time. Oh, yeah, he was killed off. He was like the king or something like that. They killed him off. They like killed him in public. Bro, I haven't watched Game of Thrones in a very long time. And I only like watched it like forwards. So I've never like rewatched it or anything. We also see lightning in Elbaf mural. Is there any connection with this chapter that's lightning? Good question. You're talking about the lightning that like comes out of the flying ship that looks like Arc Maxim. You know, when I was going through this chapter and we got to the double page with the heavens being split and the lightning coming out, it did make me think about Uranus, or at least whatever destroyed God, or whatever destroyed the Lucia. But it is a little bit of a different vibe, you know. This looks more like lightning, whereas the entity that destroyed La Lucia was more of kind of like a laser weapon. What do you guys think, chat? Do you think first of all, do we think that La Lucia, or do we, I keep mixing up the two. Do we think that God Valley was destroyed by a weapon? Like, is that lightning in 1166 from a weapon? Like something up there in the sky? Because the interesting thing is, like, when you look at 1166, the new chapter, you don't really see a dark figure in the sky shooting things. Like, you know how when La Lucia was destroyed, they made like a dark shadow in the sky? You don't really see a dark shadow in 1166. And actually, if you follow the lightning bolts to the top, it's like a big, kind of like a white blub in between the clouds? I don't know, bro. Good questions, chat. I'm not sure. Hikiko Mori, God bless you, bro. Is Haki lightning a real physical manifestation, or is it something we see? That's a good question. I don't know if characters in the story have ever commented on the lightning. That's a good question. I mean, I would assume it's a real manifestation. I can't think of why it's not a real manifestation. That's a good question. I don't know if we've ever had characters refer to the black lightning, but at the same time, I feel like it probably is a physical manifestation. Now, is there things in One Piece that's not an actual physical manifestation that only exists like behind the fourth wall, besides like a thought bubble? Usually things exist within the reality of the world. The mention of the fog and mist surrounding God Valley reminds me of Florian Triangle and the mist/fog around Zunisha. I wonder if God Valley was just taken into another domain by Emu. Wait, fog and mist surrounding God Valley. Oh, yeah, I think that was in this chapter. Let me see. The crumbling island was swallowed by the waves and consumed by fog. Is that what you mean when you say it's surrounded by mist and fog? The way I read it, I'll say it again. The crumbling island was swallowed by the waves and consumed by fog. The way I understood it is that there were so many explosions and so much fighting and destruction on God Valley that it like created a fog, like a mist, because there's all these things being blown up, you know. I actually didn't realize that God Valley, like if what you're saying is true, that God Valley is surrounded by like a wall of mist. Typed Anger's Apocalypse Fresco and Boyo Fresco. I think Oda was inspired by that for 1138. Okay. Anger's, what is that? Anger's Apocalypse. The hell is that, dude? Apocalypse Tapestry. Oh, it looks like some medieval art or something like that. The Four Horsemen. Eagle of Doom. Eagle of Doom. Bio Fresco. What is that? Is this like Christian art or something? Yeah, Johan, I think a lot of them, like a lot of these older pieces of art and tapestry and paintings and wall paintings and stuff like that, I think a lot of cultures, a lot of civilizations have like their own form of it. So a lot of them do seem like it's a similar vibe to the 1138 mural. I don't know about these in specific unless there's some type of lore behind it, but let me see. Looks like it would require quite a lot of reading, and I want to stay up to date with the chat. Sebek's official coloring revealed. Yeah. I think his hair is white and blue. I think Haki can be manifested in any element because in the last chapter, when we see Garp and Roger do their final attack, it looks like Garp's punches are like fireballs. Oh, yeah. Doesn't Luffy has the fire punch as well, right? It breaks the ground in the anime? Really? The lightning? I'm going to call you the caravan of knowledge. That's funny. Joy Boy can surely read people's thoughts. That would actually be pretty cool. I think Kuina is also foreshadowing for one of the ancient weapons being used since the Void Century by Force. Wait, why would Wait, no, you didn't say Kuina. You said Kuna. Did you mean Kuma? Kuina, Kuna, Kuma. Wait, what do you mean by Kuna? I think you misspelled. Oh, Kuma, because then you said maybe like being blackmailed like Kuma was. Oh. Yeah, an ancient weapon being similar to Kuma, that'd be nuts. Like when I think about Kuma's Devil Fruit, that's already like insanely broken. Whitebeard's fruit as well. Bro, Whitebeard's fruit, man. Hey, chat, we got a chapter next week, right? Let me know, chat. We got a chapter next week. We got 1167 next week. Yo, chat, we're on our way to 1200. 1200 chapters of One Piece? No way. We're on our way to chapter 1200, man. We're already at 1166. We're going to be getting 1167. Almost 1200 chapters of One Piece. Insane, bro. What if reading minds is a mental hockey ability, like a fourth ability you could use besides Conqueror's armament and observation? Yeah, reading minds is almost like future sight in a sense. Like I'm thinking about it from like a combat perspective, but maybe you're saying reading minds as like a social kind of thing, like from a social perspective. That'd be pretty cool. Joy Boy episodes coming out. Appreciate it, Al. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, bro. And I believe that this is the 31st chapter of the year. Yeah, I think so. That makes sense because we usually get 34 chapters a year. And I think towards the end of December, we get breaks, right? Blackbeard has black hair without any of his parents having it. Blackbeard is the only son of Eris and was only adopted by Xebec. Wait, Xebec adopted Blackbeard? I thought that was his son. His biological son. Yeah, I've used Web Archive. We heard of Xebec's son being born in chapter 1158. In the same chapter, Oda has shown Shanks and said it was 39 years ago. Blackbeard would have been 1 year old in this chapter. Wait a second. Blackbeard was like a 6-year-old during God Valley incident, right? Wait, what? Blackbeard, One Piece. Isn't he supposed to be like a year? Okay, so Blackbeard is 40. And Shanks is what? 39. Dude, wait, how old does Blackbeard look during God Valley, actually? Maybe he doesn't look like a 6-year-old. Maybe he looks a bit younger. God Valley incident was 38 years ago, so he'd be too. I thought it was 39 years ago. Also, there's probably a few months involved. It might be like 38 years and 6 months or something like that. Have you read the 1966 book Declassified by the CIA, Project Adam and Eve? I think I watched a video about that like a while ago. Like they supposedly have like the true origins of the world. What do you think the Galila are going to do in the end game, and how is Loki going to lead them or use them? Oh, we were talking about that earlier. God bless you, Jordan. I think it might be the case that Loki leads them as a crew within the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. Have they shown Rox's hair color yet? Yeah, that came out a few days ago. His hair is white and blue. But are those like official colors, chat? Or is it possibly the editor just winging it or something? Bill Gates trivializes this book, moreover. God bless Twitch Clips. Shanks was born 39 years ago. Same chapter is when Zebek smiled in Shacky's bar. White and blue, but technically it's white and violet. Oh, it's more of a violet. Well, has anyone added filters? Yo, the One Piece community is so petty. Has anyone added filters to Zebek's hair, trying to make it seem like the blue is actually a different shade? It confirms the AVD buggy. All right, chat. I think we're going to wrap up here in a few. I do have to go to work tomorrow, and it's already 12:37. All right. Any last questions, comments, concerns, theories, takes? Now's your time. We will be back. We will be back for 11:30, or I was going to say 11:37. We will be back for 11:67, guys. 11:67. Man, almost at chapter 1200. It's crazy. Crazy. I like how Rox's hair color comes out at the same time Loki mentions he sees Rox as Nika. Makes tons of sense now. Oh, yeah, because Nika is white. Zebek has white hair. Fellow Groiper? I don't know if I would classify myself as a Groiper. Are you actually a Groiper? Go, good chapter, y'all. Time for some lunch for me. Y'all take care. No break next week. Let's go. Yo, Smokey, before you go, what are you having for lunch, man? They're going to be opening up a Chick-fil-A where I'm at in a few weeks. I can't wait, man. I haven't had Chick-fil-A in so long, bro. There's also NASA's political agenda on transhumanism, which is called CIRCA. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that because I haven't heard about that. CIRCA. Transhumanism is literally like Antichrist agenda. That'd be a huge hysterical L. Wait, what would? Watch It Be Blackbeard wasn't the true Davy and it was actually Blackie. It'd be so One Piece. Yeah, that would be One Piece. I actually understand what you mean when you say that'd be so One Piece. That's hilarious. All right, chat. We're going to wrap this up here. God bless everybody. Have a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. Take care, chat. We will be back 11:67. Spoilers and chapter reaction. I can't wait to read it. This chapter was very good. 9 out of 10 for me. Take care, everybody. See you guys soon. Get some healthy food. Get some water. Exercise. Read. Chat. Always read. Pick up some books, guys. Even if you got to go on Google and type in the book name followed by PDF, read, chat. It's very important to read, to grow our knowledge. Read a book. All right? Don't be a bot. Read books.